Welcome to ancient Rome, a civilization that set the foundations for much of modern Western society. Known for its incredible feats in architecture, politics, and military strategy, it was also a place where social structures were deeply complex. In the heart of this bustling empire, one group of individuals was often overlooked: Roman prostitutes. Their daily lives, filled with both hardship and resilience, played a crucial role in the economic and social structure of the Roman Empire. Today, we'll take an in-depth look at what Roman prostitutes actually did all day. Prostitution in ancient Rome was not just a private matter, it was an accepted and regulated part of society. Unlike many modern societies where prostitution is often stigmatized, Roman prostitution was a vital component of the empire's economic system. Brothels were as common as markets, and they were regulated by the state. Prostitutes, known as meretrices, were taxed, and many of them lived under the supervision of the government. Some worked in high-end brothels, while others worked on the streets. It was a diverse industry, with people from all social backgrounds participating in it. Although prostitution was legalized, society's view of prostitutes varied. Women who worked in brothels often held different statuses depending on where they worked. High-class courtesans could gain wealth and influence, while those in street-level prostitution struggled with social stigma. But regardless of their status, all were part of the intricate social fabric of Rome. There were several different types of prostitutes in ancient Rome, each with their own specific roles. The most formal of these were the meretrices, women who worked in brothels. These women were regulated by law and typically had a stable income. Roman brothels, or lupanaria, were often established near popular public spaces, like marketplaces or bathhouses. The brothels themselves were diverse, ranging from modest, simple buildings to more luxurious establishments that catered to wealthier clients. On the other hand, fornicaria, the street prostitutes, operated on the fringes of society. They worked in public spaces, often near places like the forica, public toilets, or busy streets where they could attract attention. Street-level prostitutes had more freedom, but with that freedom came more uncertainty and risk. These women had to use subtle signals or body language to attract clients in a crowded, fast-paced environment. A typical day for a Roman prostitute began with preparation. For those working in brothels, their day started early, getting ready in private rooms, sometimes shared with other women. Appearance was crucial, and much like today, beauty and allure were paramount to attracting clients. They would apply oils and perfumes, use cosmetics, and dress in clothing that highlighted their attractiveness. For a street-level prostitute, this preparation was even more important, as they had to attract attention. In public spaces, some prostitutes even received training in the art of pleasing clients, especially those who worked in higher-end brothels. There were no strict rules, but women often used their looks, charm, and personality to stand out from others. Despite the work being physically demanding, many prostitutes took pride in their appearance, as it was their livelihood. As the day wore on, prostitutes began their work in earnest. Those in brothels would be assigned to specific rooms, where they would serve the various men who came and went. In a Roman brothel, clients could expect discretion and comfort, with luxurious fabrics, decorative paintings, and often beautiful women. For these women, their work was predictable and steady. Many of them worked under the supervision of a leno, or a brothel keeper, who managed the business and made sure that everything ran smoothly. Meanwhile, on the streets, the work was less predictable, more dangerous, but also potentially more lucrative. Prostitutes would position themselves near popular locations, looking for any potential clients. These women had to be quick on their feet, often signaling interest with a glance or subtle gesture. Some of the more well-known street prostitutes in Rome were considered to be local celebrities, constantly surrounded by crowds of admirers. But for others, This life could be harsh and dangerous, especially when working in the open. The clients who visited Roman prostitutes came from all walks of life. Roman soldiers were regular clients, and the brothels were often a place for men to unwind after a hard day's work. Senators and politicians also frequented brothels, though their visits were often secret and discreet. Wealthy merchants and commoners alike were also customers of prostitutes, and it wasn't uncommon for prostitutes to form relationships with their regular clients. Some prostitutes catered to the elite, forming long-term relationships with powerful men. These high-class prostitutes, known as courtesanas, could gain wealth, social standing, and sometimes political influence. For others, clients were more transient, serving a quick, temporary need before moving on. Despite the varying degrees of intimacy and financial compensation, all prostitutes were essential to the Roman social scene, providing an outlet for desires that were seen as taboo. Despite the social stigma surrounding their profession, Roman prostitutes had a significant impact on the economy. Brothels were taxed by the government, and many of the more established brothels became profitable businesses. Some even rivaled small shops and businesses in terms of wealth. Prostitutes, especially those in high-class brothels, could accumulate substantial wealth and, in some cases, retire in relative comfort. Their own money, making investments in property or business ventures. The money generated by the prostitution industry was vital to the Roman economy, and although many prostitutes lived in poverty, others became quite wealthy. Despite their economic contributions, Roman prostitutes faced significant social challenges. The stigma attached to their work meant that they were often ostracized from mainstream Roman society. Even though some managed to gain wealth and social standing, they were still seen as morally inferior. For many, this stigma was compounded by the dangers they faced, particularly those working on the streets. The life of a street prostitute was one filled with risks. Not only did they face the physical dangers of working in public, but they were also subject to the whims of the authorities. Brothel workers were somewhat shielded by the legal framework that regulated brothels, but they too faced the judgment of society. Despite all this, some prostitutes managed to turn their work into an advantage, leveraging their status and wealth to influence the political and social circles of Rome. As the sun set over Rome, prostitutes would wind down for the day. Some would retire to their homes, while others returned to the brothels. For many, the work was exhausting, both physically and emotionally. A prostitute's day didn't end when the workday was over. Many women would spend their evenings resting, reflecting on the day's events, or preparing for the next. Some might have engaged in social activities, while others simply rested in the dimly lit rooms they called home. While their days were long and often filled with physical labor, these women were essential members of Roman society, helping to fulfill the desires of the masses while navigating a complex web of societal pressures. The lives of Roman prostitutes were shaped by both opportunity and hardship. In a society that valued both power and pleasure, these women played an important role in the daily rhythm of life. Despite the challenges they faced, many prostitutes were able to carve out a place for themselves in the annals of Roman history, whether as wealthy courtesans or as figures who left their mark on the city in other ways. Their stories are often left out of the history books, but when we take a closer look, we see that their lives were far more complicated and integral to the empire than we might have thought.
Thank you for watching this exploration of ancient Roman prostitutes and their significant role in the empire. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to subscribe and check out our other content on the fascinating world of ancient Rome.